So today we have an amazing question that was shared inside my community asking about intermittent fasting, and as well, should we be eating if we're not hungry? For example, breakfast. So if this is something that you're curious about, if you've been looking to lose weight or you've been kind of like tempted by the whole intermittent fasting thing, stay tuned. I'm going to be sharing with you exactly what is the research showing and is this something that's good for you. So when you look in terms of intermittent fasting, there's many different forms, okay? There's like the 5-2, which means you eat for 5 days and you fast for 24 hours. There's other ones that maybe you're eating for 6 days and you fast for 24 hours 1 day a week. But the most common ones are the 16-8 or the 24, which means you're fasting for 16 hours and eating for 8. And as well, there's the 24, which is you fast for 20 hours and you eat for 4. So everything I'll be sharing with you today will explain to you the difference, but as well, what does the research show? Is it realistic or not? What are the health conditions that should not do intermittent fasting at any price? And as well, at the end, I'll explain to you what is my takeaway. So the aim behind intermittent fasting is to actually create that fasting state. Because when you are fasting, or when you're sleeping and when you're not eating, instead of having food coming in to feed your cells or feed everything that you need in your body, your fat cells will start releasing energy to satisfy your body's needs. So this is why intermittent fasting has been kind of given like a big reframe, I find, marketing the past few years, saying it's an easy way, as they say, to lose weight, because it is saying that when you are fasting, you're letting your body burn off that sugar that is in your fat cells equals burning the fat equals losing weight. When you look at intermittent fasting with any other types of diet, no matter what research is, because most research is done on rats and we're starting a little bit with humans, we have not seen a big difference between intermittent fasting or any other calorie restricted diet. Okay? We haven't seen a big difference between intermittent fasting and any other type of calorie restricted diet. However, the one big thing that we've seen is that instead of going for the ones where you're only fasting a few days, you're kind of bringing it every day, we have seen that when people do the intermittent fasting or a low restrictive diet and they end up ending their last meal by maybe 4 p.m., by 6 p.m., we have seen that there is a greater weight loss than people that followed other types of intermittent fasting or end up eating their calories at the end of the day. So, putting intermittent fasting on the side and putting dieting on the side, we've seen that a big surge of the obesity, of the weight gain, is very often related to eating so much more at the end of the day when the body is inactive. So a lot of the weight loss studies have shown that this is the big thing. So we always talk about how to balance your eating, how to decrease the cravings. And at night, very often, we tend to eat when we're not hungry as an activity. So you don't have to jump to intermittent fasting to see results. This is what studies have been shown. However, there's a few things I really want to make sure I cover with you because we want to talk about research, about medical research and what is realistic and what's not realistic. So as I said, number one, we've seen that intermittent fasting does provide the same results regarding weight loss as any other calorie-reduced diets. Number two, what people don't forget to talk about, when we research with intermittent fasting, it's the same concept as any other diet. So we talk about, cutting out the sugar, cutting out the processed, eating more at home, more whole grains, more fruits and vegetables. So very often there is that healthy aspect. It's not a free-for-all during that window when you're eating those foods. And as well, we've seen the success, and this is a success with any type of diet that you want to take over, keto, paleo, intermittent fasting. You want it to be part of your lifestyle. If you go in intermittent fasting as a temporary thing, and then you say, oh, I've reached my weight, or right now I'm done, and you get off of it, you are going to be gaining all the weight back. It's not something that stops. So I'm going to explain that a little bit more in details. And one thing about intermittent fasting, for some people, they found it a bit easier. Instead of having to calculate the calories and measuring their food, they kind of say, okay, this is an easy window for me. I eat between that hour, and that's it, that's all. But I still keep in mind the fruits and vegetables, the whole grains, the low processed foods, all that together. But intermittent fasting, dieting, keto, paleo, there are many health conditions Yes. There are many health conditions that should not get into intermittent fasting. And these have been proven because it can be very dangerous for your body and for your mind and for your life. So number one, if you're suffering from diabetes, if you're on medication for diabetes and you're thinking of going to do the intermittent fasting, it can actually cause hypoglycemia and even fall into coma if you're actually misaligning what you're eating with the medication that you're taking. So no matter what you're trying to embark on, always talk to a health professional that knows exactly how to guide you. And as well, no matter what you're seeing online, no matter what you see, all these treatments, if you are suffering from an eating disorder, from binge eating, from emotional eating, from stress eating, intermittent fasting is not the key. Intermittent fasting could be something you can do later on. But in the beginning, you want to heal that relationship with food. You want to heal that relationship with your body. And then if you feel like it with guidance, you can try intermittent fasting. But if you're suffering from any emotional eating, going to intermittent fasting, you're just putting yourself on another restriction, especially if you're going through binge eating, and then you're going to come back to where you started. Because it has been shown, and this is for anybody across the board. This is even for animals, for humans. As soon as the body is in a fasting state, and then you kind of open up the door and you get off that fasting state, did you know that for survival, your body is going to increase your hunger signals and it's going to make you crave food so much more to kind of catch up with food you didn't have? So imagine that. You're doing a diet, you're doing intermittent fasting, it all falls under the same category, and then you decide, you're done, you don't want to do it anymore, and then you're like, oh my God, I can eat everything in sight. It's really your body's survival mechanism saying, I was in a starvation mode and now it's time for me to catch up. And that's why we end up always gaining weight. So no matter what you're embarking on, making sure you can do it for the long term and you enjoy that lifestyle and you want to maintain it for life. So this is the most important thing. And let's talk about pitfalls. Other than eating disorders, there is they did one study with 100 participants and there was a dropout rate of 38%. Okay? 38% of people that started the research study with intermittent fasting dropped out. That's a big amount of people dropping out from a research study within a few weeks. And as well, we talked about the whole biological thing that your body wants to eat more. So here is my takeaway. Okay, you are your own person. You can try things. I had clients I wanted to try it and they came back to me. They're like, oh, Dina, this did not work. Because there's a few things you want to take care of. Number one, you want to make sure you don't have an unhealthy relationship with food. You want to make sure that all food for you is balanced. There's no good or bad. There's only foods that are aligned to you. And only then if you want to try something like intermittent fasting or keto or paleo, it's okay. Do it as a fun, try to understand if it works for your body, but make sure you heal your relationship with food. Number two, you want to make sure that you consult with your physician before you embark on it. Because if there's any health issue like diabetes, like thyroid dysfunction, like heart disease, like blood pressure, and if you are on medication, you can actually get on the diet and make things worse. So make it more conscious. Get all the tests done and make sure you have the okay from your doctor. Number three, before going to intermittent fasting, maybe try to eat lighter at night, because no matter what studies are doing, and even when I work with my clients, there isn't a rule that you should not eat after 7. But when you are eating after 7 o'clock at night, are you hungry? This is really the big question. When you are eating at night, are you hungry? And if you tell me no, it's just a habit of eating and snacking, then maybe it's more building a different relationship with food at night and taking care of those night eating symptoms that might be happening as well. And I think I'm at number 4. There is no cure that is going to work for everybody when it comes to obesity, emotional eating, cravings. It's really about finding that thing that is realigned to you to make you feel good. And number 5, my dear women, you might not enjoy what I'm going to tell you right now. We talk about survival mechanism, right? We talk about fertility. We talk about body fat very often when I consult with my clients. And women, we have a stronger survival mechanism than men. Okay, a man can have 3-4% body fat, everything's fine. The woman, if she goes below 15%, the body is panicking. So if you do something that is drastic, it might actually make you have amenorrhea, which is stopping your period. And stopping your period equals early menopause. We don't want that. But as well, since women have a stronger survival mechanism, this is why when a woman goes on a diet, she might lose 10 pounds and she might gain 20 pounds when she gets off of it, because your body needs to have that body fat for fertility. No matter how old you are, even if you're not trying to have kids, your body's going to kickstart those hormones of hunger and make you gain all that weight back. So with all the clients I've seen and all the research I've seen, we've seen better results with those restrictive types of dieting like intermittent fasting, paleo, keto on men than it is on women. So women, you want to realign how you are with your body. You want to better understand how to eat for your body. And I'm not even going to say, oh my God, don't even try intermittent fasting. You want to try it, you try it. Woo! But I know, I've worked in it. I've seen it happen. If you don't have a healthy relationship with food, if you're not realigned to what your body needs, if you're not ready to make this a lifestyle change because you enjoy it, then there's not even a reason to embark on a restrictive diet, because with the research, 38% of people dropped out of the research that they did on 100 people. 38% dropped out. That's a big thing. And this is people that are guided, that are supported. Imagine if you're trying to do this on your own, dropout rates within 2 weeks, pretty much, I think it's 90% of people that I've talked to actually dropped out from intermittent fasting or any other diet. So this is something to give you more awareness. I want you to be more aware of what the research is showing. Intermittent fasting is like any other diet. It has some benefits in terms of bringing down your intake at night. If you are a night eating person or binge eating at night, or you have a lot of cravings at night, why not just work on those instead of going on a whole different diet embarking? And always make sure that you consult your doctor, you consult a certified health professional like a dietitian or clinical dietitian to make sure that if you're on medication, you're doing things properly. And this goes alongside with how bad is it to skip a meal? You know, sometimes it might happen. You might not have breakfast, you might have breakfast, but the only thing I want to ask from you is that the day that you do skip a breakfast, do you end up noticing that you have more cravings during the day? Do you end up noticing that you have more sugar cravings, or you eat more at night to compensate? This is what I'm going to be asking. Understand, does skipping breakfast equal me eating more, or me thinking more about food, or me affecting my energy? From no matter what study, what research, it has been shown that your first meal is the most important meal of the day, and you want to eat lighter as the sun sets, because this is how your system, your metabolism is flowing. This is like circadian rhythm, natural. I'm not going to go against, what your body's saying. But some people skip breakfast and they have their lunch, their dinner, their snacks, and they're fine. And there's no right or wrong. But if you're seeking energy, you're seeking balance, you're seeking healthy relationship with food, you're seeking maybe weight loss, the belly bloat, the digestive issues, then it's better to see a little bit more why we're skipping that breakfast. Is it affecting the rest of our day? And how can we make it differently so we can see results and maintain the results? Because we can all get results. It's all about maintaining those results. So on that, I really hope you enjoyed this. If you have any other questions about health, fitness, mindset, just comment right below and I'd be more than happy to answer them. So Dina Merhbi here, Body Balance Coach, and I will see you in the next training. And before I let you go,